So very, very excited to have all of you here to have a fruitful conversation. And what we want to do today is learn from people who have been following this path for a while and see, and they are also two people who have been helping other people to walk this path and also have helped them with a lot of different medical conditions. So first of all, we are delighted that you're here. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. And we are all so inspired that you have been on Fruit for 10 years. And in fact, Rashmi and I both have joined your challenges in the last year, and we have been super inspired. And Rashmi will share what her experience was, but I just want you to know that I had done a fruit feast for 2 months in 2021, and I felt really good. However, when I joined your challenge, after Rashmi told me about it, I joined your challenge, and your emphasis of water-rich fruit is what made the difference for me. Because
okay, great.
I didn't know before that, but bananas were actually triggering my pains.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I just told people who were present, and then I was able to come off medications in 2020 after listening to Dr. Robert Morse speaking about more fruit, more fruit. However, I was not completely able to be rid of symptoms. I mean, even now I have symptoms. However, for about 14 years, I was not able to squat because, there's a lot of inflammation in the knees and the muscles become really weak because we don't move because of the pain. People who have any kind of lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and so on. But in your challenge last year, on the 20th day or something like that, I was able to do a full squat. That I had
I remember. Yeah, yes.
years. I wrote about it in the group.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we are so grateful to you for giving us this path. Some of us need to go beyond fruit into water-rich fruit. And maybe Rashmi can speak a little bit about your experience as well, and then we'll get started with the questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So since 2020, I have been trying to be a maximum on fruits, but it really didn't happen too much. I was like 80% on fruits. And I have been following you on Facebook since around that time, 2016, while I was researching raw food and all that. So I've been following you on Facebook, but your challenges would never come my way because I was not really interested in becoming a fruitarian. So I wouldn't pay attention to the challenges. But when I started really looking at, okay, let me try to become more fruits, one fine day I saw your challenge coming up, and that was the last day for you to join it. That was last April 2023. That's when I joined the first challenge. And then for 25 days, I could do it. But 5 days, the salt kicked in. And I had to have salad with salt in it. And then I said, okay, this is interesting. And people were sharing so much. But I needed some support in between. So I started throwing my own challenges to my patients, so that in between time, I'm supported. So I'm supporting them, but actually they were also supporting me.
Supporting you, absolutely.
Yeah. So I did, I think, 4 or 5 challenges with you last year till December. I did it. And in between times, I would conduct my own fruit challenges.
Good for you.
And one of my patients who was suffering from Crohn's, I could see how the cal-protecting levels of his, because we were taking regular tests. Otherwise, during the fruit challenges, nobody really takes that test, right?
Right.
So because this was a patient, his cal-protecting was somewhere in the 500s. And after not even a complete month, he was not able to do a complete month. But even though he didn't do completely, he was maximum on fruits. After a month, it came down to 100. It should be below 50, but 100 is also a huge deal.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So otherwise, I personally don't have any physical issues, but what I see in my patients, that's very encouraging. So, and thanks to you for that, because the high watery fruits, like Nandini said, otherwise bananas and jackfruits are my weakness.
Well, something I'm so happy that, you know, you were able to, you know, pass the information on. That's what it's about. It's about, you know, we just, you know, information is not good only if you pass it on to other people. So you pass it on to your patients and they're getting great results. That is so fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. I really am. Yeah.
And all the information that you share in your fruit challenge is like so useful. It's like you're doing a complete education course, you know.
Right,
Very
yeah.
useful. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Orwell, as I understand, you actually personally never had any health issues.
Yeah, I've never had any health issues. For me, it was always about prevention rather than cure. That's what it was about. And yeah, because a lot of people, you know, I'm just a thinker, you know, and at a younger age, I'll just like think. I said, well, I'm seeing family members having issues, you know, and I'm saying, well, that's probably going to happen to me. By a certain age, everyone's having issues. If it's not family members or friends of the family, they're all having issues with, you know, something, you know. So I just said, there's something not right about this, you know, and I didn't want to be in that statistic. I didn't want to do that, you know. I just wanted to see what I can do. If something happened, well, I tried, but I tried and it's been continuing good. So I'm happy. So far, so good.
So how did you discover this path and how did you come on to it?
Yeah, it was really by accident because first of all, I became a vegan. I did a vegan diet at first, and I did that for many years. And then when I joined Facebook, I saw raw vegan diet, raw vegan groups. I said, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me kind of try it and see, you know, see what that was about. Because I was always up for a challenge. And then when I did that for a couple of years. But while I found that a lot of raw vegan foods, if it's not salads or anything like that, you have to prepare, you have to dehydrate it or do this and do that. It took so long. So I ended up starting to just eat fruits. I was just like eating fruits. And at the time, I didn't even know what a fruitarian was. I was just eating fruits. And, you know, because I was so busy in the daytime and I was just eating fruits all throughout the day. And then I found out, well, this is what I'm just eating fruits. So it's something that really came by accident. That's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what changes did you observe in your health or in your body after you started eating primarily fruit?
Well, I found, when I did the vegan diet, I found that my energy increased. But when I went to the raw vegan and also the fruitarian, it just went from 100 to 150 to 200 when it comes to endurance, when it comes to, you know, just like a lot of energy, just feeling great all the time. That's what it was. I mean, my sleep was good. Everything just kind of changed like that. You know, I've always exercised. So that's never changed. A lot of people say when you're doing some fruits or whatever, you should be exercising, but I always exercise. And the way I looked at it, well, I have to eat. It's only thing that I've changed is what I'm eating. So why should that affect my exercising? That's the way I looked at it. So I continued exercising when a lot of people say, oh no, you shouldn't exercise, blah, blah, blah. Lactic acid, I said, no, I don't think like that. I'm just, you know, I go by observation. And I was feeling great and I'm doing everything I can do and more. So I just kept on with it.
And what changes did you observe in your body, Rashmi, when you went on to primarily fruit?
So like I said, already on a whole food plant-based diet, my body was fantastic. But it also coincided with my menopausal period, perimenopause and all that, when I went on fruits. But it was because I didn't have too much toxins, because since 2016, I have been on raw. There was nothing great as a healing crisis that happened. But in March of this year, since Jan, I've been having some postnasal discharge. I thought it's because of the weather changes and stuff. In March, I had from the left nostril, a big stuff came out. And in that, there was some, what I thought was blood clots. But I was a bit interested in what it is actually. So I just removed it and started looking at it. They were basically small crystals that came out, you know. So, and then I went to Kerala, where my mother stays, and we had a conversation about my childhood. Seems like as a child, I used to have a lot of nasal drainage, and they would put injections on me and whatnot. and a lot of cod liver oil. So there was a lot of suppression that had happened before the age that I could really remember. Maybe it's all that old stuff that finally got released. But I think there is some more to be released. But that was huge for me, that nothing like this has happened before. And I would be very happy it was that old stuff which had come up. Yeah.
Yeah. So as for me, like I'm on Dr. Rashmi's challenge right now. She's running a challenge. And next month, Orwell is running a challenge. So,
Right.
so it's so wonderful. All these fruitarians running challenges, and we can all,
Absolutely,
you know,
indeed.
join
Yes.
all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's our day 21st on all watery fruit and absolutely nothing else. And every time I go on this, on all watery fruit, my energy is like double X. My pains go down, inflammation goes down, and there's more optimism in the mind. It's
Right.
more clear-headed, much better clarity. And of course, I feel like I get a fruit glow. I hope all of you can see.
Right. Yes, we can see. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I love my reflection in the mirror. And I tell you, if I was to eat cooked, within 3 days, I feel I lose it. There's a certain pallor, a certain grayness, a certain, I don't know, it changes. The energy shifts.
Even if you put a little bit of salt, you know, it just pops up.
It pops up. Yeah, that's how it does. It pops
Yes.
up. Your body just starts to pop up. You know, that's exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know. Yeah.
So we all wanted to. Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm sorry.
No. So the next question was: we all want to know, what exactly do you eat?
Oh wow!
And when and what time and how much?
Yeah, my diet is very simple, and I usually only eat once a day, and it's usually around midday. And it depends on the fruit that I want. You know, maybe grapes. It depends what's in season. It really depends on what I have a taste for. So I don't really have a multiple. I don't really eat like combinations of fruits. I usually kind of stick to one. So it's usually like mono. And the reason behind that, because I feel more satiated when I just eat maybe just one type of fruit at a time. You know, so right now, it's grapes right now. I've been grapes for a while, but usually, I mean, once I get on the fruit that I like, I can keep them going. You know, so basically, I just eat once a day, usually around noon, and then I eat about maybe about 2 to 3 pounds of grapes. I just eat until I feel satiated. You know, I don't eat till I feel stuffed, and once I eat, I'm good all the way throughout the day and throughout the night and until the next day. And that didn't happen.
Just 1 or 2 kilos of fruit.
Yeah, that happened. Well, I found that the longer I've been doing this fruitarian lifestyle, your body needs less food.
Wow.
And you know, and the longer you do, you'll experience this. You'll experience that you don't really need as much as you think you do. Because even though I may eat 1 or 2 kilos of fruit, as the hours go by, I stay the same. I know I've eaten. I could eat some more if I want to, but I don't have to because I'm not hungry. I just have that light feeling. Now, a lot of times when we eat other type of foods, we be at after 2-3 hours, you want to eat something.
Right.
You want to go and eat something and then you eat more. It's totally different. It just stays all the way like this, level all the way. Once the 24 hours is coming up, then I can may feel a little slightness and that's it.
I find that the hunger is also not like that crazy hunger when I was eating cooked food and all that. The hunger is so mild. It's like, yeah, you can eat.
Yeah. And that's all it is. It's what you know. You've got to that point. You know, you don't have to eat. A lot of people think you need to eat because we've been programmed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it doesn't have to be like that. I always say is eat when you're hungry. When you know that you're really hungry, you ask yourself the question: am I really hungry? Do I need to eat? If the answer is no, then you don't have to. You know, if you have energy, you're not falling down and like weak. You don't have to.
Do you think it's because the body becomes more efficient at assimilating the nutrients from food? Like, why is it that you can get by and you're fit and you exercise and you do high intensity
Right,
exercises
right.
and just 1.5 kilos of fruit? Like, how is it this even possible? Because it's not
Yeah,
even like 500-600 calories.
yeah. I think it has more to do. I think it has more to do with than just food. I really do. I think it has everything to do with, the air you breathe, the sunlight. I think it's a combination, and it's also the mindset. I think it's a combination of everything. I don't think it's just food alone. A lot of people think everything when it comes to energy is just food, but I don't really. For me, I don't think it's that, because what I'm doing regarding exercises, it would be like that's impossible.
Mm,
So it has to be more than just food. I think a lot of times when sometimes if we are hungry and we take inhale deep breaths, it kind of curbs, it can curb it away, curb your appetite. Sometimes if you think you're hungry, you can go for a walk for 10 minutes or so, do a little exercise, the hunger's gone. So there is something within. I cannot put my finger on it, but I've come to the conclusion it's not food. Food is only a small part of the equation.
that's amazing to eat
Yeah.
once a day and be. And I've also noticed in the past that this month, as I've been on this challenge, that sometimes I forget to eat.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
When I
I
was
think it's
eating cooked food, Orwell, there was
right,
never that I could forget to eat, you know?
right, right,
Like I had not finished breakfast and I was already dreaming about my lunch, and the
right.
dinner was being cooked in my head as well. But because it's like it's not so important anymore.
Yeah, I think I also, as I said, what you just said, the mindset has a lot to do with it.
Mm,
Exactly. Yes.
If you're thinking about food, you're gonna want food. But like a lot of people, even people who are not vegans, people who are generally say they're busy at work or busy doing a lot of things, they may have all these things to do within a day, and then they realize at the end of the day, something, I didn't eat.
Hmm.
you know so that means they wasn't hungry because they didn't eat. They were just told their mind was somewhere else. So I
correct.
think we have to take off the focus from the mind about we need to eat at a certain time, and when we think about it, it makes us want to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
And of
It,
course,
it's
if everybody opens their tiffins and starts eating, then what do to eat?
yeah.
We never
Right,
check
right,
with the
right, right,
dog if it's
right,
really
right,
good.
right. Yes,
It's
yes,
also
yes,
it's
yes.
also this thing that we always need to do something, you know. So eating is the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And we feel that okay, we earned this doing, we earned this eating. For me
Hmm.
personally, I do reach out to food for comfort. For emotional distress, I do reach out to food. And
Right.
eating fruits really makes me more aware of these tendencies, these patterns, which are very subconscious, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I still need like 3 meals a day of fruits. And the
Right,
other
right,
thing
right.
you said was very, very important. This I used to advise my patients even when giving the advice for cooked food that when you have a buffet which has different tastes, you tend to end up eating more because
Yeah.
once you have a little bit of sweet, then you need a little bit of sour, you need a little bit of salty, it
Right.
becomes spicy. But if you are
Yes.
just eating one thing, you know, and it is heaped on your plate, chances are you will not be able to complete it
Right. Yes, 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 yes,
because the stimulation is less for the tongue. So when you're
yes.
eating mono fruit, there's just one taste. So you're more connected with when your stomach gets full. While
Absolutely.
if there
Yes.
are different tastes, your tongue gets all overstimulated and you lose connection with your stomach.
Yes,
That's
yes,
when you end up
absolutely.
eating
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot more.
Oh,
Okay.
God,
The
yeah.
next question is about what is called cheating. Do you ever cheat on your diet? And if you cheat, what do you cheat on? So I don't like the word
I
cheat actually,
Yeah,
but if
yeah,
I,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, cheating, I guess, yeah, cheating I don't really like that word either,
Yeah.
because
Mm,
because cheating is mean if you're doing something all the time.
Yeah.
So if you have something different from what you normally do, then I don't class that as cheating. I think, I mean, yeah, I mean, I like raw vegan food. That's what that would be my big thing. A lot of times if I go to my favorite restaurant, I'll go there because their raw vegan food is so great. I had some cooked food on my birthday, and and I had some champagne. That's what I haven't drank alcohol in like over 20 something years, so that was kind of fun, but it didn't make any difference, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
somebody's written it's a treat, not a cheat. So if you were,
It's a treat.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for a treat, what would you eat?
But if it was,
So
if
what's your favorite raw vegan dish, for example?
I can't, something I can't even say because this particular place where I go to in Washington D.C., the menu always changes every month. They change. It's like it's a small tasty menu, and everything is exotic. But I can't even, I can't even say this is what it is because it's so many different things. They give you like different all small meals, and everything is so good. Everything is light. Um, all the words, the actual dish, it's exotic. I just have what is this? They come to your table, they explain what it is, how it was made, blah blah blah. But it's so exotic and just sounds like, well, what does that mean? I'm just saying, well, what does that mean? But it's good.
So would it be stuff like raw vegan sushi or raw vegan lasagna or maybe wraps and lettuce or something like that?
No, not really. It's more of it's create more of a fine dining. It's really
Okay.
fine dining. It's very creative. I've been to a couple of raw vegan spots like in New York and also Washington D.C. when they used to have them here, but the food is totally different. It's not the same because I found with raw vegan foods is that a lot of time it could be very heavy.
Yeah.
Could use like
Yeah,
a lot
there's
of
a lot
nuts
of
or
nuts and
oils
fats.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and it wouldn't really sit well with me, But this
Yeah.
place, it's very small dishes, but it's nothing like they make. How can I put it? I don't even know how to put it. I would have to show you pictures of what the
Somebody
food
wants
looks
to know
like.
what's the name of the restaurant. They're going to go and Google it later and
Right. It's called Elizabeth's Gone Raw. Elizabeth Gone Raw. And what you
Elizabeth
can do,
Conroy.
yeah, what you can do to get a full raw vegan menu, because they used to be totally raw before, but they're not anymore. But you can just let them know in advance, and they'll have everything raw for you.
Okay.
It's called Elizabeth Gone Raw, Washington D.C.
Okay. So Rashmi, what about you? What would be your treat meals?
Nuts.
Yeah.
Coconut, basically coconut. For me,
Yeah.
coconut is something that
Okay, yeah.
Avocado, coconut.
not avocado really
Not
for me.
you.
Coconut because Kerala. So
Yeah.
yeah, lots of
She's
coconut.
from the land of abundant coconuts.
So I end up eating coconuts because sometimes my body wants that. It's like, okay, of course, not the body, it's the mind, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my weakness, yes.
So now both of you work with people to improve their health. You have plenty of clients with all kinds of chronic ailments. So one of the questions that always comes up is diabetics. Can diabetics eat fruit? So Arvind, could you tell us a little bit about the people who join your challenges? What kind of problems you've seen resolved, and especially about the diabetics? If they were to do
Yeah.
something like this, what would happen?
Yes, I've seen type 1, type 2 reverse in the group. I've seen cancer reverse. I've seen lupus. I've seen arthritis. I've seen high cholesterol. I've seen a whole bunch of different kidney disease. I've seen a whole bunch of things being reversed. Regarding diabetics, we have been informed wrong when it comes, especially type 2 diabetics. We have been informed that, the sugars is going to affect you. Well, they are right in a sense that the sugars will affect you, but it's not the sugar that's causing the problem. It's the fat in the diet. So most people, their diet is very high in fat. Now, fat and sugars do not mix together. They do not mix together because they take different times to break down. Fats a lot more slower to break down. Sugars breaks down a lot faster. So when you have the combination of those things together, then the cells cannot get the sugar that it needs. And this is the reason why fruits by itself will improve and reverse diabetes, because once all once everything is moved out of the system, once everything is digested out of the system from the other foods you used to eat, so you just got 100% high water fruits. It's basically water and fiber. So all the other foods, fats, maybe in the blood circulating, once those get out of the system, then now you got a pathway for the sugar. Once you eat it from the fruits, goes directly in the cells where it belongs, because every single cell in the body runs off sugar. That's why we need, carbohydrates. It's so that's what it is. So I always tell people, like, even if you're if you don't have to be a fruitarian, but even if you're a diabetic, eat fruits, but you have to know the time. It's all about the time of when to eat the fruits. Now, I always say eat fruit on an empty stomach. So first thing, when you wake up, if you feel hungry, eat fruit. But the moment you decide to eat whatever you choose to other than fruit, then do not have any more fruits for the rest of the day. Because if you do, then that's where the problem comes in. As a diabetic, it's got to come in, because now you've eaten a meal, now, and maybe hour or so, you eat some fruits after that, and then all that sugar and the fats, the sugar breaks down quickly, but the fats take longer. So the sugars cannot get into cells. It's like an oil slick. The sugars cannot get through. Everything is fermenting together. That's what you don't want. So the sugar is trapped with the fat. Now, blood sugar levels has got to go up, because you're eating fruits, have a diet, and the body has to get rid of it, otherwise it's got to make you really sick. So I always say that if you to get control of your diabetes, I suggest doing high water fruits for the 30 days or longer. But in your regular diet, when you go back to your traditional diet and you want to keep fruits in your diet, eat fruit first thing in the morning on an empty stomach up until you decide to eat something else, and that will be the take-home message.
So what if the something else is a salad with a fruity dressing, for example?
Yeah, I always say eat fruits, but that wouldn't be bad. But I always say eat fruits. Fruits don't like to be eaten with anything else.
Okay.
Because
what about green smoothies? People put greens and they put fruit together and they make green smoothies.
Yeah, I still think that's not going to be a problem, because it's not common. It's not.
There's no fat. Yeah.
There's no fat in there, stuff like that. It's not going to be a problem. But still, fruits break down a lot quicker. If you want optimal breakdown, then fruits by itself. If you want green smoothies, that's fine, but do it by itself. Make a green smoothie by itself. If you want to, later on, you can do that. That's what I think.
Okay. And what would you say, Dr. Rashmi?
So type 2 diabetes has been reversed even with whole food plant-based. And by now, I think pretty much everyone knows that fruits are not the issue. Fruits are definitely not the issue.
It's not the fruit that's making everybody diabetic.
No, it's all the other junk that is making them diabetic. Fruits are just there. Because naturally, even if a healthy person eats fruits, immediately if you check their blood sugar, there will be elevated blood sugar. It's how much it goes inside the cells after some time. And even on a fruitarian diet, when I do these fruit tastings, one of my classmates, she was on kind of 4 medicines for diabetes, and she joined this, and now she's on half of 1 medicine. So your daily, I tell them to check especially if they are on medicines, I tell them to check their blood sugar every day, because they can go hypoglycemic. So even your blood sugar may be elevated while you're checking, but at the end of the month, when you check your HbA1c, that would have come down. That shows that your diabetes has reversed. So yes, this is proof you see, when this happens, if you're taking your blood test regularly. And as Orwell said, he's given the science very well. So
yes, I know. Yeah. So basically, it's the combination of fats, which is primarily oils, coconut, nuts, seeds. When they are mixed with fruit, that's where the problem occurs. So
Absolutely.
Just to reiterate, what you're saying is, if you want to try out or adopt a high fruit diet, then eat all your fruit from the morning when you wake up until you decide to eat anything else which has some fat in it. Could be a salad with a fatty dressing, could be cooked fruit, could be grains, whatever it is. Then if you've eaten that, then do not eat any fruit that day. For the rest of the day, have your fruit the next morning once your system is empty and your stomach is empty. Correct? Have I understood
Absolutely.
that? Mhm.
Absolutely. That's correct. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So my next question for you was that, have you, because I see hundreds of people in each of your challenges, and you've been running it since when?
2016.
2016. Wow. So it's already
Yeah.
been, this is the 8th year running.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And Orwell runs it every alternate month, correct?
That's
And
correct. Yes.
every alternate month, roughly 2 to 300 people join your challenge?
Yes. Usually. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. On
Yeah,
average.
on average. So you've seen thousands of people in these
Oh
nearly
yeah.
8
Yeah.
years. Yeah,
Yeah. I've
if
seen.
not
Yeah. So
hundreds of
many. Yeah.
thousands. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people, and a lot of people still. A lot of people who've been doing it from the beginning are still there as well
Wow,
for the
they just keep
support.
coming again and again and
They
again
just
and
keep coming again. Yes. Yeah.
again.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people come through. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there something, somebody's healing or some remarkable recovery that even surprised you?
Yeah. I mean, there was one particular guy who had diabetes for 22 years. 22 years. He had it for 22 years, and he was taking medicine for his diabetes. And then he did my fruit challenge, and this was about 6 years ago. And his family, he was telling his family what he was doing, and they were so worried about him. Said, "Oh no, you don't do that. Your blood sugar gotta get light. You gotta, something's gotta happen." So he contacted me by messenger after the first week. He said, "Well, my family is really worried, and I'm not too sure if I can do." I said, "Please continue to." I said, "What you can do, you can just go, you can go to your doctors and get a blood test." So that's what he did. I think he's got a result a week late. I think like a week later, 2 weeks, a week later, and then when they went in, they called him and said, please, sir, please come in. We need to speak to you." So he came in, he was like a little worried, and they just sat there and said, "We cannot believe what's happened." He had high cholesterol, had high blood pressure, everything gone, diabetes gone. They took him off all medication. And this was like 6 years ago. And he's not a fruitarian, still off all medication.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
22 years of diabetes, and then you can say 2 weeks on the challenge, it was gone.
Gone in 2 weeks. Wow.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. And what about you, Dr. Rashmi? Have you observed somebody that really, surprised you as well?
Like I said about the case of this Crohn's disease, that was a really encouraging thing. And of course, my friend, like I said, she also got off her diabetes medicine. And then there was this other lady who had shared that just before she started on the fruits, she was going to go for a surgery for her polyp in the nose. And during the challenge, she would complain a lot about blocked nose. That's one thing which I also find sometimes I also find it very difficult. And I feel like saying, okay, stop, because the healing crisis,
yeah.
It is so severe. It's almost a cry, But after that, she went for a checkup, and the doctor said, "There's no need for you to go for a surgery at all. It's gone.
Wow.
The polyp is gone."
Wow.
Yeah, but the healing crisis, you have to bear with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Think about that next. I also want to share that one of the things that surprised me, because I've been working as a health coach for about 12 years. And a year before last, I did a challenge during Navratri, which is a period of 9-day fasting in India. And I did a fruit only challenge, basically because I was doing fruit and I wanted some company along the way. And I announced it for free. And I was surprised that 600 people joined that challenge.
Wow.
They had to create 2 WhatsApp groups because it was getting full all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the ladies who joined had suffered from eczema since the age of 3 or something like that. And it was really, really bad. Like she had almost open wounds on her hands and all that. And she happened to take a picture of her hands before the challenge. And then she messaged me saying, Nandini, I have to share something with you. Like my hands have completely healed. Like within 9 days, her hands had completely healed. So she sent her picture of her hands after, and she said, I can barely believe these are my hands because she was 42 at the time that she joined. So she'd had it since the age of 2 or 3, so nearly 40 years. So that's something that really woke me up to the fact that, wow, this really is universal. I'm not having a unique experience. It's something that other people can experience as well and heal from anything, because it's the body. When we talk about, living a natural lifestyle, when we talk about eating a natural diet comprising primarily of fruit, it doesn't matter what your diagnosis is, because it's the body recalibrating and, bringing you back in alignment with an optimal level of health. And it could be anything, it could be
Absolutely.
any name given by any doctor. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I say when it comes to, diseases. They're just names. They're just names that were given to certain things. But everything is toxicity. Everything is toxicity. And, all diseases, it comes under toxicity, inflammation, mucus, acidosis, whatever name you want to give it, but that's what it is. And it's all about removal. It's about removal of obstruction. And that's what fruits do. That's what fasting does. That's what rest of the body does. It gets rid of whatever it is. But because we live in a world where we don't give the body a chance to rest, the only rest we give it is when we're sleeping. But we're not giving it an eternal rest. We're always eating breakfast, lunch, dinner before dinner is digested. Lunch hasn't even digested yet. It's always constantly eating. So the body cannot heal. The body cannot detox, and it cannot heal at the same time. So it's like when we stop eating, or when we eat something that breaks down very quickly, then you can put your body back in that stage of rest. And this is a waking moment of the day while you're awake, not when you're asleep, because sleeping is not enough time. So fruits is a perfect example, because fruits digest very, very quickly. Within 30, 40 minutes, you're back to healing mode. So it doesn't matter how many times a day you eat fruits. It's not going to take the whole day to digest. 30, 40 minutes, you're back to healing. And that's where I think that's how, that's the reason why people reverse these things so quickly and feel better a lot quickly, because they're actually giving the body a rest, and the body's thinking, oh, thank you. I need that rest. Let me heal now, and yeah.
Because it's not actually the fruit that heals.
No, it's not. The body heals itself.
The body heals itself.
Absolutely.
Eating fruit just removes the obstructions of all the wrong food that we've been eating, basically.
Absolutely. Yes. Helps to push everything out. The cellular waste gets everything out in that lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, get it out of, the lymphatic system is always stagnant with all that other food, because it's all very murky. You cannot, it's just low oxygen, but fruit is very alkaline, and it has a lot of oxygen. Even though I always say to people, so what about lemons? They're acidic. I said acidic when you eat them, but they're alkaline after they've been assimilated, because it's a cellular waste that is left, the residue that's left behind, that's dumped into the lymphatic system, which makes that lymphatic system movable, because as we all know, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It's just very stagnant. So you need something with oxygen to keep it flowing. This is why a lot of people, the way they eat a very acidic diet, so they stay sick, because that lymphatic system has got all that waste in there.
It's clogged. It's jammed.
It's clogged. It's jammed.
It's like a food system that's jammed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Home stops working, what will happen? It'll just get jammed.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody is asking about Candida and fruit. Have you seen anybody heal Candida?
Yes. Yeah, I have a couple of people in the group who heal Candida. Yeah. Even the last group, I have this lady. She like a few years ago, 6, 7 years ago, and she's still Candida free. She was in the last challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've seen a few people.
Do not eat any fruit if you have Candida. And a lot of people experience flares when they eat fruit.
Yeah, because they're not eating fruit exclusively. you know,
because
because
they're mixing it with fat and all that.
they're mixing with fat, and that's the problem, you know, because you know, Candida is like a fungus, you know, and you know, when we have an overgrowth of fungus, it's like because of the good bacteria, what we have in, you know, the gut flora, they kind of out of whack, and those other bad bacteria is taken over from the bad diet. So yeah, that's what happens. The overgrowth of fungus happens now. Number one, the fiber in fruits feeds the good bacteria, the gut flora. That's why I always say to people, there's nothing wrong with just like juicing, you know, but it's better to eat the whole fruit because those bacteria can multiply and get rid of whatever, all that stuff, bring everything, all that inflammation down and out of the system.
And also, I feel that when a person eats fruits, especially on an empty stomach, if you already have Candida, the healing crisis will hit you. There will be a slightly increase in your symptom. And most of the times, the doctors will feel that this is an aggravation. That's why the advice not to eat fruits.
Yes.
That's another perspective to it.
So let's speak about healing crisis. What is it, and what should people be aware of if they decide to, take up this lifestyle and go on a high fruit or an exclusive fruit journey for someone who may be in a lot of pain or discomfort in their health? So what is healing? What is a healing crisis, and what should people be aware of?
Well, a healing crisis, it could be anything from, you may have had an injury years ago, you may have had a disease years ago, and you think that it's totally gone, but it really hasn't. So what fruits do, it actually exposes weaknesses in the body. So for instance, you may have had knee pain, say like 10, 15 years ago, you took some medication for it and it seems the pain is gone. But all of a sudden, it arises, the knee pain comes back. And it usually only lasts for a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 days, and it disappears. So the body is exposing the weaknesses at the areas that has not been totally healed. We may have thought it was healed because through taking medication, and medication usually doesn't heal anything, it just kind of like suppresses it. So now, because that area is exposed to the fruits and the healing, then this is where the pain is going to show up. Maybe if you had something wrong with your eye, with your arm, if you had like a chest infection, it may come back briefly. It may be very scary, as you say, it can be very mild to severe. So it's basically, that's what it does. It exposes any weaknesses that you have in your body. It may expose it, not with everybody, but the majority of the time it does. It will expose that weakness.
What would you say, Dr. Rashmi? What should people be aware of before they start something like this?
So in my practice, clinical practice, I really look at where the person is. So I don't put everyone on a fruit diet because sometimes some people are not able to take that healing crisis. So usually I graduate them slowly first into whole food plant-based, then into high raw, and then into high fruit, because they are holding on to their jobs, their personal life. Sometimes a healing crisis can be very, very devastating. Especially I see a lot of cancer patients. For some of them, they are already fighting with their family to when they approach me, because I'm not a allopathic doctor. So if a healing crisis comes in, chances are that they will be pushed into chemo and radiation. So I gradually take them through it. And when they have enough confidence, that's when I push in the fruit and the high raw. So because definitely they will have an aggravation in symptoms. So when people come to me as a doctor, I have to take this into account, But one thing I do tell my patients is that, how do you differentiate whether this is your disease aggravating or if it is a healing crisis? So if you have temperature, the discomfort that you feel in your body will be a specific level, and you would have experienced it in your life sometime or the other. When it is a healing crisis, you will still have 120-degree temperature, but your distress...
102, right?
Yeah?
You mean 102?
Yeah, sorry. But the amount of distress that you feel in your body will be way less. it will be almost 50% less. So that's an indication that your body wants this. So,
Interesting.
so that's how you differentiate between disease progression and crisis.
So what are the various kinds of detox symptoms people experience?
There is no specific way for one person. It's different for different people, you know.
Depending on where the toxicity is, right?
Yes.
So if it's the eye that's affected, the eye might start watering, or it might be even through the nose. We don't know.
Right.
You don't know.
You just don't know.
Constipation, bone pain,
headaches,
anything.
Fevers, bone pain.
Spitty coming up. Yeah. That
We
can
call
also
it detox symptoms, and a lot of times my clients would say, everything we say, she says detox symptom. You know? Have you experienced that as well? Yeah, because you see, because these are generally in the prevalent society, in the prevalent mainstream understanding, all of these colds, coughs, headaches, diarrhea, discharge from nose or other areas, all of these are considered diseases, sicknesses. So our mindset is that, oh, I need to suppress the cold. Oh, I shouldn't be, having my eye watering. Oh, I shouldn't, be having so much loose stools. So people get very worked up because they expect the body to behave in a certain way. And if it doesn't, they run towards medication and symptom suppression. So what would you say to that?
What would I say? I totally agree. I always say that this is the body's cleaning. That's what it's doing. The body is actually cleaning, and you suppressing something, it's always got to be there. So if you decide to do a detox and then you stop because the healing crisis was too severe for you, I always say when you decide to come back again, the same thing is going to happen. Because it hasn't got to the root cause of it yet. You have to get to the root cause of it before it can disappear.
So you might as well go through it the first time and get it
done. Get it done with, because if you're going back and forth, that's what's gonna happen. And they said, oh well, the fruits were making me sick. They said, oh, the fruits were making me sick. And as soon the moment I decide to eat something else, like another food, all those symptoms are gone. I said, yeah, the reason the symptoms have gone is because all that toxicity, what was in the circulation, has now been pushed back into the tissue of the body. So that's the reason why you're feeling well. But the moment you go back to fruits, the same thing's got to go. All that's going to shake up, and all that toxicity is going to be in the circulation to be excreted. The thing is that you didn't wait long enough for it to be excreted out the body to feel well.
Yeah. So, for example, in India, people have a lot of tea addiction, like coffee, tea, caffeinated. Right. So I have noticed that the people who are very heavy tea drinkers, when they stop drinking tea and come on to a more natural diet, they always get a migraine or a headache. And it's just the toxins circulating in the bloodstream. And I keep telling you, just keep hydrating, keep having the juicy fruit, it will pass. The people who stick with it, it passes in 2 days, 3 days, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they're feeling so much better. Actually, I wanted to ask you about hydration. How important is that? And should we be drinking water, and how much water? All that about water. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say that, if you're coming from, hydration is very important. Now, if you got to a stage where your body is clean, then if you're eating hydrating fruits, you got to be hydrated on a cellular level. Now, if you are eating a cooked diet, then I emphasize on everybody, please drink water, because you still have that thirst. You still got you're still dehydrated. You need to be hydrated on a cellular level. Water doesn't. I don't think water doesn't hydrate you on a cellular level. It just hydrates you in a sense, because when you are eating exclusively fruits, you don't get thirsty. You don't get, oh, I need to drink some water. But when you're on a cooked diet, you have to drink water all the time. You're really thirsty. What I found interesting, when I used to eat some of those heavier raw vegan foods, and within 20 minutes, I'm thirsty because of the spices and the salt. Yeah, it's just kind of like I'm drinking the whole night. I'm getting up out of my bed and drinking water, the whole night, and eating some fruit until the next day it passes. So that's why I think, hydration is very, very important. A person will know exactly when they don't need to drink excess water, because you'll know. You don't put a date on it. You'll just know, because you won't be reaching for the water only if you in the mindset say, oh well, I was told I need to drink 6-8 cups a day. If you're still in that mindset, yes, but if you're not thinking about that and you're just doing what you're doing, then you'll know.
I noticed that when I went on fruit, I got very thirsty. And I live in a very dry place. The relative humidity is like,
Right.
And when the fan runs, it's like everything is dry. Like our clothes are dry within half an hour.
Wow.
If we wash, put our washing out, it's dry in half. So I'm constantly dehydrated despite being on fruit. I need to keep sipping water, because even as I'm speaking, my mouth dries up. And I think I also have a lot of backlog of dehydration. Like I could feel when I went on fruit, I could actually feel in my body that I was dehydrated on a cellular level. So when you say that, I have kind of a knowing sense about it, that super dehydrated. That we are eating grains and cooking the vegetables, removing all the water from them, and eating all this dry, snacky, crunchy, kind of stuff. Oh, it's utterly dehydrating. So cells have no water in them. And when people ask, how can this happen and blah, blah, I just give this example that if you had salad and you put salt in it, what will happen? It'll lose all the water. I think the same thing happens to our cells when we eat salted, spicy kind of food.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
Like you said, the backlog is quite there. So that's why even on fruit challenges, people do require some water initially.
Till their body has released the toxins. And even to release toxins, the body requires hydration.
Yeah, lymphatic system
all that through the fluid. Yeah. So would you, Orville, would you just bring people straight onto a fruit diet if, let's say, they were eating a regular SAD or SID diet, diet, like with all the dairy and the sugar and the heavy grain-based meals? We always have rice or wheat in, food. So would you advise people going straight on to a fruit diet from such a toxic diet, or to do it gradually? Because sometimes I have seen that the detox symptoms can be extremely harsh for some people.
Right. Well, yeah, I do, because no one's got to go to a strictly fruit diet overnight. But when it comes to the challenge, I think 30 days is a good amount of, 30 days is a good start. 30 days is the beginning of, cleaning. So it doesn't matter what type of diet you're coming from. I advise, doesn't matter, for the past 8 years, people from all different type of dietary backgrounds have come to the group, from eating meat to eating this, to eating that. They came to the group, and they have to put their mindset into that. I may get some type of detoxification symptoms. That's where the group comes in, because I'm able to answer the questions and tell them exactly what's happened, what's happening. I guess that's what helps people, because they know what's happening. They're not getting scared. Now, as you know, after the 30 days is over, then I always advise the people who are on a meat diet to go to a vegan diet. So this is the part now where you're transitioning. So when you go on to a vegan diet, then your body's getting more cleaner, because you don't really want to detox to retox. And that's why I try to emphasize people. And this is why a lot of people come back to the group a month after that, because now they've got used to the fruits. Now they're getting used to a vegan diet. Now they come back, and then now when they come back to the fruits, they got to get a whole different experience. It could be a deeper detox a detoxification symptom, it may be less. So yeah, I don't have a problem. I've never had any problems with anyone, actually going full throttle for the whole month. Because I know no one is gonna go, okay, I'm gonna go a fruitarian diet for the rest of my life, and just kind of do it. As I say, yeah, it is a transition. It's in stages, but the first 30 days is the first part of the transition.
And I like how you call your challenges fruit feasting, because this is something that I have noticed in patients. They have this tendency to go for detox stuff and then go back to the worst diet possible. So this yo-yoing is much more difficult for the body, because if you are eating a bad diet, your body is always trying to protect you. So there will be some symptoms that are there, but the body has segregated these toxins in that particular area, and you're functional in the rest of the area. Then you go for a detox, you take out all of it, so your body is feeling, okay, now I'm free. And then you push in all the toxins again once the detox is over. This is much more harmful than staying on a bad diet.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Yes. Yeah,
and people do that. So especially when they read detox, they jump into it just so that they can enjoy their bad habits again.
Yeah. That's very sad, because you just kind of wasted, 30 days, and you got to go back to a worse position than what you were.
Yeah, that's much harder for the body.
Mustered up all the energy and started doing this cleansing work. And then you again put junk. It's like, let's say you were cleaning a room that you hadn't opened for 10 years. And then one day you decided, I'm going to clean this. And you started cleaning it. And then just after that, you threw another truckload of rubbish in there.
Yeah.
And then you start, it's like the body is mustered up so
that
much.
Damages the room, damages the furniture, everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Whoever is cleaning will just say, listen, I'm not doing this anymore, because you I must take all this energy, I start cleaning, and then you give another bag full of crap for me to deal with, and I'm exhausted now. I'm not going to do this anymore. Although the body is so forgiving and so compassionate that it does it again and again
and again.
We're just so grateful to the body that no matter what we have done to it, anytime we come once again on nature's path, it again does the work, it again heals us, because that is its nature. It's just constantly working to, detoxify us. This is why we go to the bathroom every morning.
Absolutely. Yep.
Even if you've never, been on this path, your body is still detoxing you.
Yes.
But the load has become too much, and that's why diseases are appearing in the body.
They are basically the body's defense mechanism, these diseases, wherein the body is trying to segregate it in one part, so the rest can function. And what we do is we just go and operate that part out, or we just, suppress it with medicines. And that's when the whole body gets infected.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
For example, the appendix is or the tonsils, which are considered so dispensable by mainstream medicine.
Yeah.
But they are critical parts in the lymphatic system.
Yes.
They are like the sewage, the sewage, the septic tanks of the lymphatic system. And they are overcrowded, and we should be saying, how do we clean this septic tank? Not that we need to throw out the septic tank.
Yeah, take them out. Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
is running all over your body with no septic tank to take all that stuff out.
Yeah.
And they become inflamed and enlarged, because obviously all the bacteria is accumulated over there, trying to break down all the toxic matter. So instead of sending more toxic matter to these areas, we should be saying, no, how can I reduce the load? Because I'm overloading my septic tanks and my body with sewage, which the body cannot handle. But instead of that, we remove, it's like akin to my fuel gauge is running low, so I should remove the wire because I don't want to know that the fuel is. It's
right.
The body is trying to send you a signal, and we are just removing the signal.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that we are
absolutely.
We know much more about our cars and machines than our own body. We
Absolutely,
treat it
because
much less with much less respect than our
That's
cars.
true. We would never put
absolutely
junk fuel in our car.
right,
We would never put kerosene in a petrol car or diesel in
right.
a petrol car or the other way around. But
Yeah,
we even call it junk food and we put it into our body.
yeah, yep, yep.
Junk food will junk your body. And that's
Uh-huh,
what it's doing actually.
uh-huh.
But we are also addicted, like the cravings, the conditioning, the memories from childhood. How do you deal with that? Because I'm sure people experience a lot of cravings on your challenges because they do on ours. So it must be the
Yeah,
same everywhere. So
yeah,
how do you
yeah.
handle that? How do you teach them to deal with that?
I know the cravings is very strong. It could be very, very strong. But at the end of the day, I always say it's not going to kill you. A craving is not going to kill you. You have to think about the reasons why you are doing this, and your why should be stronger than your cravings. Now, if you have a craving, a really strong craving, take a walk. Or if it's late at night, go to sleep. Because usually, when you do any of those two things or do some form of exercise, usually the craving will pass, especially if it's late at night and you go to bed and you sleep. You wake up in the morning, that craving is gone. But as I said, it's not going to kill you, it's only going to make you stronger. So when you try and deal with these cravings every single day, the cravings will become a distant memory as time goes on. But you have to put yourself you have to go full throttle with dealing these cravings head on and not give into it. Because yeah, we know people will give into it, but if you give into it, get back on. But it's all about focus. Just trying to focus your mind and just thinking about, well, I have this issue and my issue is more important than this craving. Let's go. It's not gonna kill me. You gotta try and psych yourself up in a certain way. And as I said, movement is always good. You have a craving of food, go for a walk. Go for a walk or do something, I find that tends to lessen things.
Yeah.
What would you say, Dr. Rashmi, for cravings?
So that's something that is ongoing for me as well. So I do share a lot
Right.
from my own experience,
Right.
Yeah. So the latest was when I was traveling in the train just last week, and there's this regular smells right from childhood, the smells that you're used to. The vendors, they bring their stuff, all the fried stuff. And naturally, when that smell comes, you do feel like, some sensation arising in your
Right.
stomach. It's very easy to read it as cravings. So this time I just sat with that sensation. And then I realized that sensation feels like a burning sensation. And this is the same sensation that happens if I were to eat that fried thing. It's like a fried vada that was going around when this sensation came in. So if I would have eaten that vada, that is a fritters, um, that spice, the same spice sensation I was feeling within me when I sat with it, instead of labeling it as craving and thinking from my mind that I want that, I sat with it. And then once that sensation was gone, believe me, I I got that feeling in that aftertaste in my mouth as though I had eaten it, and that yucky, oily feeling in my mouth. I could reach there. So sitting
Right.
with that craving, if you cannot distract, can be very powerful. That
That's so
teaches you how
Yeah.
the body is automatically reacting just from the smell. My body was
Right.
already reacting because it's like, okay, this punishment comes my way every time the smell comes in. So it's
Right.
already got its mechanism on. So it was all like I'm punishing my body every time I'm putting it in. That came in just because I sat with it. So this is something that I keep sharing, whatever I'm
Yeah.
experiencing, I keep sharing because that's the only way I can know. Otherwise, everything is just learned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I tell my clients, and it may be beneficial to some of the people who are watching here, is that imagine that you've eaten that thing that you're craving. You're on a fruit challenge, and imagine that you've eaten it. You go and you eat it. Now, 10 minutes later, half an hour later, how will you feel? 2 hours later, how will you feel? And most of the people say, I'll feel heavy, I'll feel acidic, I'll feel bad that, I couldn't hold on. I'm like, so instead of, because what we tend to do when we crave, we are just imagining, oh, how tasty it's going to be and how gooey it's going to be or how crunchy it's going to be, whatever the craving might be.
Yeah.
And we stop there. I'm like, but take it to its, natural conclusion. It'll go in your body, it'll be in your system. How will it feel over there? And how will you feel like a few hours later, having, quit the challenge because of it? And how will you feel if you actually went through with this challenge? 30 days later, how will you feel in your mind? How will you feel in your confidence? How will you feel in your power to say no? Is it worth it to give that up, what you can feel, and overcome this, to just give in to this momentary craving? Because anyway, after 30 days, you can eat all that if you want to, if you really want to. Why not give yourself a chance to experience what clean eating can feel like in your body?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was a taste of what optimal health can feel like. And it was such a powerful, visceral experience that subconsciously I want that again and again, which is why I come back to the fruit challenges again and again and again.
Yes.
And eventually it'll be more fruit challenges during the year than not fruit challenges. And hopefully eventually it'll be a lifestyle,
Yes,
so that's why I tell people it doesn't matter whether it takes a few days, a few weeks, a few months, or a few years. Just keep at it. Just don't give up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
Is there any kind of person that you recommend should not do it, or do you recommend it to everybody, no matter what their ailment, no matter what their age, their nationality, their gender? Like, is it for everyone?
For everybody, because I think this is our natural diet.
Even for children, infants,
absolutely,
all of that.
Well, I think for children as well, because children usually they breastfed, and breast milk builds the immune system and builds up everything for the body. After that, as we know, we don't need any more milk. And I find that a lot of kids who are breastfed, they have a stronger immune system. Now, I had a lady in the group, she got pregnant on the challenge, and she got pregnant on the challenge, and she she was feeling sick, and so she went to the doctors to find out she was pregnant. She was 45 years old at the time. She was pregnant. And she continued, after the challenge was over, she continued the whole 9 months of pregnancy on fruits, on high water fruits.
Wow.
Yeah. And the baby, I think she's about 6 years old now, thriving, and she lost fruits. So that to happen, that tells me anyway, because it's always, we told different things that we shouldn't do this and we shouldn't be doing that. But that's just a great observation as someone who got pregnant on the challenge and stuck after the challenge was over, continued all the way through because she liked the way she felt. Everything, she had all these different ailments, diabetes and high cholesterol, all those disappeared while she was still pregnant. She had a healthy baby girl.
Wow.
And I think I posted that in the group a couple of times. I don't know if you saw it, but
seen it.
So
that was very inspiring, that story. Yes.
So that tells me if that can happen, and that's big, and that's starting life, that's forming a baby. So why should it be any different from a baby who's already born, who's had the proper nourishment from breast milk? And it's what we feed our children. That's what it is. Because at the end of the day, all the animals within nature, they all eat the same. They all have they're all same diet. We're the only humans that we have all different type of diets. We think this, we're eating this. We got the Atkins diet. We got this diet. We got, for every other species, have the same diet. They eat very, very simple. They eat 1 or 2 items, and you know, within their lifetime, and they get nourished. But we think we need to get extra this, extra fat, extra sugar, extra salt, extra this, and we don't become healthy whatsoever.
Not just that, we become allergic to our original diet. Many patients come and
Absolutely.
say allergic
Yeah.
to fruits.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when
Another
they go
question.
on fruits, that goes away. You know, I start them mostly on whole food plant-based and slowly introduce fruits, and you see that it goes away. That so-called allergy goes away. It's just about
Right.
rectifying and cleaning their system.
Absolutely.
A lot of people ask this question, and this will be the second last question before we finish tonight. And the question is about, is a fruit diet nutritionally adequate? Because a lot of people worry about protein, they worry about calcium, they worry about the various minerals, sodium, because we're also talking about being salt-free. They worry about vitamin K, or, lots of different things. D, B12, all of that. So what would you say to that?
Say that I think the nutritional information that we're being taught all our lives is very flawed. I'm going to say that because with fruits has everything that you need: protein, amino acid, all plants. You cannot find protein anywhere in any animal flesh. You find protein in animal flesh, but these animals don't eat meat; they eat plants. Protein. Protein is broken down into amino acids, and that the body can only use amino acids. When you eat plants, you get it from the source. The protein is meat protein is recycled protein. It's secondhand protein. It's not good. Regarding all the things like salt, fat, vitamin K, vitamin B12. When it comes to salt, fruits contain salt. They do, fruit salt. We don't call, sodium, potassium, they're all fruit salt. When it comes to vitamins and minerals, they can contain everything you need. When it comes to calcium, I think when it comes to calcium, our body builds up those minerals in the growing years up until maybe 25, 30 years old. I'm not too sure. But we don't need any more. It's not about, I tell people, it's not about trying to maximize nutrition. It's about minimizing nutrition loss. And minimizing nutrition loss is all about eating alkaline foods. That's what, because when you eat an acidic diet, then the body has to pull calcium, which is one of the strongest buffers to eliminate to get the body back into balance. Calcium, iodine, magnesium, they are buffers, but calcium is the strongest buffer. So it's all about minimizing the loss. So if you've got strong teeth and bones, when people lose bone density, when they lose this, they lose that, because their diet is very acidic and the body is losing minerals from their diet they're eating. So regarding the nutrition thing, I think it's all flawed, because what I found, if you think about it, if people are reversing diseases on an empty stomach, meaning that after the detox and eating fruit, so if they reversing disease on an empty stomach, so that tells you that it's not the nutrition that's healing them. It's the body healing itself at resting. It's like your family pets. If your family pets is ever sick, they will not eat.
Yes.
You put water or food in front of the dog or cat, they will walk up to it, smell it, and walk away. They will not eat. So the body heals on empty, but all the nutritional wise, with the food we have everything that we need within there. If the body is clean enough, and that's where detoxification comes in, that helps to remove constipation, obstructions within the body, then we don't really need a lot of these things that we're told that we need, because people are still taking calcium pills, or taking this and taking that, but they're still at the same position.
Yeah. Adding to the protein thing, we don't even need all the amino acids. We need only the 9 essential amino acids. That's all we need, And apple has like 19 of amino acids, including essential and non-essential. That is one of the biggest, nutrient value in any kind of food, that is. And we don't even consider fruits as sources of protein. While it is
Right, they
there,
don't. Yeah.
yeah, it's there in apple, 19.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Similarly, all
Yeah.
these trace nutrients are there in the fruit. The thing is that we don't even know how many nutrients are there and are essential for us, because we have still
Absolutely.
not identified nature's elements yet. We are still discovering new elements. So all the diet chart that we are following is based on the ones that we have discovered till now. And the
Right.
values are hyperinflated. We don't
Yeah,
require
because
so much.
because I know that the fruits have thousands and thousands of micronutrients that science it cannot even name. That's so many of them,
Exactly.
and they
Yes.
all work in synergy.
Yes.
So so when people say fruits and they talk and they just think it's just sugar, I said no, fruits is more than sugar. It has
Exactly.
thousands of vitamins, minerals, and they don't even have names, and that's how many they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, Orwell, if somebody wants to connect with you or get on your challenge, where do they find you? What is the
Okay,
best
so
with you?
the best place to find me is on Facebook, which is my Fruitarian page, Orwell, Orvel, Orwell Douglas, Fruitarian Lifestyle page, or you can send me a message on my regular page, which is Orwell Douglas. Also, to join the challenge, I would advise you to go to my website. And my website is my name, Orwell Douglas, ORVELDOUGLAS.com. Go on the website, you'll see a video on the homepage. Please listen to the video and it'll give you all the details and all the instructions on how to join and what the challenge is about. You can also find me on Instagram, which I don't really use much, but I am on Instagram. And my Instagram is black_fruitarian1964.
Is that your birth year?
Yes, just turned 60 in February.
Oh, happy birthday. Yes,
Thank
did
you.
see that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
60 years, huh?
Wow.
60 years. Yeah,
This
yeah,
is what
Yeah.
children look like, everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And where do they find you, Dr. Rashmi? Where can people go look for you? If they want-
I'm on
And
Insta.
what do you do? I mean, I know that Orwell runs challenges. Could you tell people how you work with people and how they can find you?
Yeah, so I do holistic consultations. I'm also a psychotherapist and a yoga teacher. So I combine all of it, and according to where you are, because I do believe that health is not just about the food that you eat, it's about all the other elements as well. So I look at, there is a process to take a consult. I need a blood test done and a form to be filled. And then I look at it, and if I realize that, okay, there is some help that I can give, then you are supplied a link on which you can book an appointment. Otherwise, there are some cases I know that I might not be able to help. So then I tell them that, okay, I might not be able to help. So, and if you want to reach out to me, you can go to Instagram, dr.rashmi.menon. Yeah. So that's my ID. You can reach out there. You can message me there, or on Facebook, I'm dr.rashmi, menon. I'll just write it down.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll also just let people know that I work as a holistic health coach. I'm not a doctor, but my specialty is really, you know, how we all know what is healthy for us, but we are not able to do it. That's my specialty, to make you able to do it. So I work on the psychology as well. I work on the mind. I also have a holistic approach, thoughts, emotions, mind, food and body, of course, and even spiritual aspects. So I have some free memberships and I have some paid memberships. And I also run a challenge called Eat, Play, Move, which I run 3 times a year. You're welcome to explore all 3 of us. Why not have 3 coaches? Do join Orwell's
Absolutely.
challenge. Do sign up for a consultation with Dr. Menon if you wanted to look at your particular case. And since she's a qualified, registered doctor, she can advise you and keep things really safe, especially if you're on medications and things like that. Because I won't be able to help with that. I'm not really qualified to tell people anything about medications. So she would be great with that. And also because she has a holistic approach, can help you with everything on a one-to-one level. So that's all we have. And I just want to finish with maybe just one thing, one message that you want to leave people with. And there have been a lot of questions asked in the chat. I'm sorry, we just don't have the time to go through all of them. But and some of them are very specific. But you will find that when you come into any of our challenges or our consultations or our memberships, all of your questions will be adequately answered. I hope you got a lot. I did keep an eye on it, and I tried to cover as much as was really possible during this time. So if we could just leave with one message for everybody, what would it be? Maybe, Orwell, you start, and then Rashmi, and then I.
Yeah, I'll just say, life is very short. Life is for living. You have to think about, when it comes to your health, you have to think about your kids, grandkids, if you have any. Think about them. Those are most important things. Your health is wealth. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So it's always best to try to take care of your health the best way possible that you can find to do it.
Thank you. Yeah, so true.
Yeah, very true.
Health is wealth.
Absolutely.
We are working to be the wealthiest people on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Rashmi?
So since this talk was more about fruits, I would suggest that instead of looking at all the data, research, and stuff like that, start one thing if you can, that start your day with fruits, till lunch be on fruits, and experience it. Rest of the day, eat whatever you're doing, but till lunch, be on fruits and just experience the changes. And then you decide whether whatever you have heard today is true or not. Because self-experiment is the best experiment.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
And I would just add to that and say, don't believe anything that we have said. Just try it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Just try it and feel how your body feels. So thank you, everybody, for being here, for taking the time to be with us. It was an absolute pleasure to host you, Orwell. I hope that we can do this, maybe again another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I really enjoyed talking to you, as well as Dr. Rashmi, who's been my personal inspiration. We do work together. We host retreats together.
Yes.
We've been working together for many years. And I have always been inspired by her example, because she has been a raw foodist. And I don't know any other raw foodist personally. And I'm so blessed to have her as a friend. And really, really happy that I could host this and have everybody over here. So
thank you for having me,
everyone.
Thank you so much. And likewise, you inspire me as well, Nandini.
Yeah. Thanks so much. And the stories were amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.